Hey, what's up, guys? I just wanted to jump on here and walk through some of the power of getting creative with a deal with a real example of a house that we're working on right now in Tampa Bay that we should be closing on next week. It's pending a septic inspection, so I'm hoping that goes well. It should go well, knock on wood, but I kind of just wanted to show kind of the details of this particular opportunity, why it makes sense, how it makes sense, how we were able to negotiate a seller finance deal with the seller to solve her problem, why it works for HouseAble's strategy, and then what we're going to do with this property on the back end to go ahead and make homeownership possible for middle America when big banks say no. So, without further ado, I'm going to move myself out of the way here, but this is the house. It's over in Tampa Bay. It's in a place called Town and Country, which is a neighborhood in Tampa Bay. It's a 4 bed, 3 full bath. So it's actually a 3 bed, 2 bath main unit and a 1 bed, 1 bath efficiency unit. Now the house flows, so you could rent the house or use the house as a full house, which is what it is, but it has its own separate kitchen in the efficiency unit. So it's really like a 1 bed, 1 full bath with a kitchen and a pantry. And then right now, what they were doing with it prior to us buying it is they had a doorway that connected to the main house, and that's bolted shut. But one could open that up and theoretically use the whole house for, a full single family rental or a single family property. Main house is a 3 bed, 2 bath. It's got a patio in the back, 2 full bathrooms. It's 1,400 square feet, but it feels way bigger than that. So what we were able to do with this deal is the seller actually owns the house outright, but she has some other expenses and some other properties that need to be paid quickly. And she can't really sell the property in its current condition. It needs a little bit of work. We got about a $20,000 bid to make it, rent ready. Right now, if she were to sell it for cash, she would be selling it to someone like a fix and flipper or under contract with a wholesaler. It would be a low cash offer and would probably be somewhere in like the mid to high 200,000 range. For me, as someone who's going to buy, hold this, and then turn it into a houseable deal as a lease option or a wrap and make homeownership possible for somebody who wants to live and own this property down the line, is I could pay more for the property, but it has to be on terms that make sense for me while solving her problem. So her biggest problem was she had, I think it's twenty to $30,000 of expenses that she needs to pay ASAP. She can't pallet taking a giant haircut on the property and selling it for 250 to $280,000 from a fix and flipper, someone who needs to create spread to get to the ARV price of somewhere around 400, because you have closing costs, agent costs, holding costs. So all of those things eat into the profit of the fix and flipper. And so they have to be taken account for on the price when someone makes an offer. So in terms of offer price, no one could really compete with what I'm able to do because I'm going to use creative financing to purchase the property. My only cost is going to be acquisition costs and holding costs. And so my closing cost for the deal is just, something like 5 to 6 grand. But when you go to a bank or a hard money lender, you're paying points, you're paying origination fees, you're paying for appraisals on the back end, you're paying for realtor costs, seller closing costs. There's a slew, probably on a $400,000 sale, like $40,000 of costs that I don't have to worry about. Therefore, I can offer a higher price. But I want to show you guys something really cool here. What we were able to negotiate with her because of her situation, her price is 350. ARV on it is probably close to 400. It needs about 20K of work. And the reason why, like I said before, she can't sell it as is because the efficiency unit, the one with the kitchen, the 1 bed, 1 bath, she had that rented out to someone who cosmetically trashed the unit. They were smoking weed in it. There's like, black on the walls from the smoke and things like that. It smells, it's dirty, it's filthy, it's disgusting. The toilet's leaking, there's debris. It needs an overhaul. But lucky for me, that overhaul is pretty cosmetic. It's all cosmetic. And so we're going to be able to preserve, we don't need to retile anything, refloor anything. It's cleaning is basically what it is. But that's a cost that she can't afford to incur to make the property market ready to sell it on the open market. She doesn't have that money to make it current. The main house also needs some work. She tried to do some work herself. It's mostly partially finished. It needs that last push to take it over to the edge to make it market ready. And like I said, she's got costs that are stacking up on her end for a couple 10, 20, $30,000, and so she needs that money now. She doesn't have that money to put back into the property to make it market ready. So what we were able to agree with her to do is a $350,000 purchase price, $55,500 down. Now she has an agent who's getting paid $5,500, and we incorporated that in the down payment, and it's coming out of the $350,000 purchase price. So if you follow, the mortgage on the property that's going to be left is $294,500. Now this is where it gets pretty cool. We negotiated with her a 1% interest rate. Obviously, the first payment date's not correct, but we negotiated with her a 1% interest on a 30-year amortization. This way, we keep the payments on the lower end, and almost the majority of it is principal. And this is where it gets really crazy. So over here, you can see she wants a 10-year balloon on her remaining principal after 10 years. So the 30-year loan is going to amortize on a 30-year schedule for 10 years at a 1% interest rate. And then at the end of year 10, I'm going to have to balloon her out the remaining balance on the mortgage. And so if you see here, you can see the interest paid over the course of that time is 25K. I've paid $88,000 in principal, and my balloon is like $206,000. So effectively, I've paid almost $100,000 in principal for holding the property for 10 years because my interest rate was so low. And I just want to show you guys quickly. So the total amount paid, pay attention to this. The total amount paid for this property over a 10-year period, including interest and everything like that, is around $375. If I were to go to a bank and pay, let's say, $320,000 for this property. Let's say I went to the bank and I did that. I put around 20% down. That's about 65K. 7.125. That's about the going rate right now. That's on for a different property, a DSCR loan. And so this payment here works out to 1798. Obviously the payment's significantly higher, but that 1798 is basically all interest. So if you remember the other slide that I showed you at a 1% interest rate had about $25,000 of interest paid over a 10-year period. This one has 171 almost that period. The total amount paid over the course of that time is about $120,000 more. It's $490,618 total amount paid, even though I'm paying a lower purchase price, which is what people focus on the front end. People are like, oh, I want a lower price. Well, I'll pay you more because over a 10-year period, this is what it shakes out to be. It's a six-figure plus difference in the amount of interest that I'm paying over that time. And for me as an investor, where I'm looking for dollars and cents, that is super attractive for me. And for her, it's super attractive because she gets that down payment money to solve her problem and pay off the debts that she needs to pay off. She captures that price that she's looking for to get on this property without taking a massive reduction from a cash buyer who's going to go look to fix and flip something like this, which is really appealing for her. And it really works out to be a win-win. One of the premiums on this property that is super exciting for us too is that she's going to pay off the solar on the property out of her proceeds. And the property is covered with solar panels. So now we own those solar panels outright at closing. We're going to have the ability to offer those solar panels to our wrap or lease option buyer on financing. And so that they can enjoy those solar panels that we were able to take care of out of our down payment on the original closing. And so it all works up and chalks out to be a win-win scenario. But if you look at the property here, I just wanted to show really quickly so you guys can see this. This is the efficiency unit kitchen here. And so it's pretty much minus the stove, a full-on kitchen. So there's the side door over there. Obviously, it's off the hinges. That's what I was saying. It's cosmetics. It needs to be fixed. It's a door. It's off. They broke it off on the way out, so the whole door needs to be replaced. But I mean, sprucing this kitchen up. I mean, you got a sink over here, hot plates, air fryers, things like that. Like it's pretty much a full kitchen minus the stove. Maybe you put a microwave over there. So definitely workable. This is when you walk into the actual that door that I showed you guys over there in the back. When you walk in, this is what you see. Obviously, the people who live there left a bed in the kitchen. We're gonna get rid of the bed, but you have your full pantry in the corner, and then you have your fridge. You have your little section for the fridge. So for all intents and purposes, this is like an Airbnb grade type of kitchen in an efficiency unit. So it's a full on. It's a really good space. And then if you walk into this room here, and you can see that right here, that is the full bedroom. So it has its own private mini split, and obviously the bed is there. The flooring is fine. It's just really gross. So we're gonna have to clean that up. This is the bathroom to the main house. Let me see if I can grab the picture of the bathroom of the efficiency unit for you. Here it is. So the toilet is leaking from the bottom. It needs to be replaced. It was a lot grosser in person than it looks here. It's pretty nasty, but nothing like a new toilet, some polishing up, and a good old fashioned cleaning job wouldn't fix. It's a perfectly salvageable bathroom, and we're gonna make it sparkle. So we got our contractors ready to go. We're ready to close on the deal pending a septic inspection. And this property, the last one that we actually did, and I made a video about that. I'll link it up for you guys below, or above, I should say. He bought a wrap deal from us. We bought it subject to the existing mortgage. We wrapped the property to him. He started off actually as a lease option buyer. For the first year, he's going to lease option it from us. At the end of the first year, he's going to execute his option to seller finance and then own the deed at that point, start amortizing a loan, and then gain equity in that property for him and his family. He bought that property. It was a 3-bed, 1-bath from us. He turned the laundry room in the back of the house into a bathroom, like I suggested in the video that I'll link that one for you guys up here too, the original video. He actually turned that into a bathroom and then made it an ensuite. And I think his sister-in-law is living in it now. And so this property already has all of that done. It already has the space for a family and then relatives to live in the house together, which is super common in these communities. Share bills, responsibility, ownership, things like that. And so this product delivers all of those things. And because I was able to get it on the seller finance terms that I was able to get it on, and because it has that additional solar and so on and so forth, I can then take over ownership of those things and then offer to my end buyer a competitive solution that solves their problem and makes homeownership possible for them through lease options and wraps. Even if big banks say no, they already have space to bring in extra people to help, cover their bills, pay the mortgage, things like that. It's something that is built for this strategy, and the way that we structured it and the actual makeup of the house is something that I'm super excited about. And so hopefully this video shows you the power of amortizing loans, and what we're trying to do at HouseAble by taking these assets and then lease optioning and wrapping them and making homeownership possible for people like we did for the previous wrap that we did. And we'll show how this property unfolds. I'll go there, take videos of like the renovations, what it looks like before and after, and then when we place a tenant buyer or an end buyer in the property, we'll go through that whole process. And I'll just peel back the curtain, and everybody can see what we do at HouseAble, how we do it, and why we do it. And that drives me and empowers me so much. And I'm super excited to film it, document it, and bring it all to you guys. If you have any questions about any of this, have a comment about it, anything, drop it below. I'll get to them. I'll answer all your questions about how we acquire properties like this, how we find buyers for properties like this, why it makes sense for us to do what we do, and why it drives me to do this, because I want to help 1,000 families. HouseAble is going to help 1,000 families over the next 5 years achieve homeownership. That's our stated goal. And so, I'm looking forward to seeing you guys in the next video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and stay tuned for the next one, and I'll see you there.